A fourth grader raised her hand to spend recess and lunch with the guidance counselor learning conflict resolution. What kind of boring kid does that? That fourth grader was me. I spent recess in a conference room with a few other kids. And after the 2-week course, I came back with a new skill, conflict resolution. I didn't know how important it was until I came to a learner-driven community. See, in this environment, we kids had to do everything. That meant solving our own problems. It was the first time I got to apply the method, and surprisingly, it worked. Then I thought, why doesn't every kid get the opportunity to learn this if it's so important? It's so simple to learn, yet so effective. Have you ever searched up anything related to conflict resolution with kids? Well, let me tell you, the search results are disappointing, only showing couples conflicts and articles telling you to not fight in front of your kids. Kids, on average, argue 5 hours a day. Parents and adults are wasting their time on resolving these conflicts. But wait, why are adults resolving them? Why don't we let the roots of the next generation learn to understand each other's emotions? Why don't we let them learn to express their emotions in a controlled manner? Before I tell you the key to conflict resolution, let's go back and talk about how conflicts arise. There are 3 main reasons. Number 1, information. Not understanding feelings plays a big role in conflicts. It contributes to misunderstandings and arguments. We often miss a few pieces of information or they don't come across clear. Number 2, values. We all value different things. If your values clash with others, it creates a conflict. Number 3, structural. Sometimes a specific behavior of another can bother you, which is totally normal. Going off from misunderstandings, if you and the other have enough empathy, you can approach the situation more appropriately. If kids grow up without this skill, without an understanding on how to solve their own problems, how will they become truly independent? Solving their own problems will give them a slight taste of being independent, and it will encourage them to continue doing it by themselves. Mark Burns created a process for his family's conflicts. This was widely used in public schools in America, but somehow never outside of them. We never really learned it, and still some adults don't know how to solve their own problems. After using this process in my school, around 80% of conflicts were resolved among themselves, not being brought up to the administrators. The steps I'm going through are for how to have a clear conflict resolution that even a 5-year-old can follow. So there are 6 steps that kids can follow to solve their own problems without a need for external factors. This process is designed to build empathetic skills. Take a glimpse at a learner-driven community conflict resolution.
I feel sad when you don't let me play with you. Yes, then next time only please play. I understand you feel sad and I don't play with you. Next time we can think of a game and play together.
What was unique about this video? There was no third person like a mediator or adult involved. Let's talk more about it. So the kids followed 6 steps. We often continue arguing when we are clouded by our emotions. It's important to stop and take a breather before making any more decisions, like taking a walk or organizing your area. And when you're feeling cooled down, see if you're ready to move on to the next step. These statements are a rough outline to a conflict resolution. We use them so that we can express our emotions without blaming others. So saying I is key to this statement. When we use words like you, it can come off as attacking or blaming. So as you saw in the video, the little girl said, I feel sad when you don't play with me. I would like for you to please play with me next time. All you need to do is fill in these blanks while the other person acknowledges your feelings. And so, speaking of acknowledgement brings us to our next step. A great way to get each other to listen is to have an object to pass, signifying you are letting the other have an opportunity to talk. You might have seen a rock being passed in the video. This touch sensory part has a deep meaning. When you are the only one with the power of being the one to talk, passing that rock symbolizes passing that power to the other person. Again in the video, the other girl said, I understand you feel sad when I don't play with you. For more complex resolutions, keep telling your side of the situation and how you feel until you found common ground. And once you do find common ground, it's time to take responsibility. Often in conflict resolutions, both parties have some responsibility in the situation. Being the one to take responsibility can be a bigger step than you think. And when you do take responsibility, it changes the whole course of the conflict resolution to a place where you can come to a resolution. A great way to take it is by saying sorry. Just by saying this, you are taking your responsibility and owning it. And this allows us to move on to the next step. Once each person has shared and understood the situation, they can then establish new rules or promises to each other by coming up with the solution. In the video, the little girl offered a solution, which was to think of a game together next time and play. This style creates a bond and a trust between the person. They let each other in on how they're feeling. No grudges will be held for a lifetime, and they will trust that person for a long time. Now, these 5 steps are primarily here to help you make your point come across clear. Either you're having a conflict of values or structural, there is always some misunderstanding. That's why being clear and honest about how you're feeling is very important to a successful conflict resolution. Now, how should we end it? And what's the last step? So giving high fives or just saying thank you can end a conflict resolution. Take a glimpse at how the 2 girls ended their conflict resolution. They started giving each other high fives and they started laughing. See, young kids are capable of resolving conflicts. We don't need adults to do it for them. Why don't we let kids take over this for a change?